Shalom, shalom, lekulam. If you have been with us since the beginning of the Helpful Hey, then you'll remember that the initial purpose of this video series is to show how 11 of the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet are used for other uses besides just being a consonant in a word. We looked at the hey, which is the definite article. It's an interrogative particle, it's a locative and an adjunctive. Many different kinds of uses where we see the hey as a prefix and a suffix. Today we're going to move on to another letter, which is the vav, and we will just look at what it looks like to write a vav. The vav is just a straight line. The handwriting looks very much like the block letter. And we're going to see that the vav is used as a consonant and also as two different vowels. So sometimes we see the vav with a dot on top, and that is called the cholam maleh, and it is pronounced O. And sometimes we see the vav with a dot in the middle, and that is called a shuruk, and it sounds like Before actually continuing on with the meanings and the uses for the vav, we're going to move to a little slideshow because sometimes where these dots are and how they appear is a little confusing for readers. So we'll just move to the slideshow and then we'll come back and finish up for today. We're going to look at several examples of how the vav is used both as a consonant and as a vowel. Can get a little bit confusing. If you turn to Bereshit Aleph, Pasuk Shtayim, Genesis chapter 1, verse 2. V'ha'aretz hayata tohu vavohu v'choshech al pnei tehom v'ruach Elohim merachefet al pnei hamayim. So the first vav there is highlighted, and it is used as a consonant. You can tell because there's a vowel underneath it. The second highlighted vav is a vowel, which is called the shuruk, and it says U. It's got that dot in the middle. And the third highlighted vav is the cholam maleh, the full cholam. It's a vowel that says O. We're also going to look at the dots in tohu, vavohu, and also choshech. I wasn't able to highlight those dots in this slide, but those dots are the cholam chaser, so they also say O, just like the cholam maleh and tehom, but they are chaser, they're missing the actual vav, but they have the same O. So we have one consonant shape. When the vav appears as a consonant, it will have a vowel with it, and then we have two vowels, the shuruk, the O, U sound, and the cholam maleh, the O sound. In Bereshit Aleph, Pasuk Eser, Genesis chapter 1, verse 10, we have a highlighted word, ulamikveh. And so we see the shuruk at the beginning, it's a vowel by itself. This is not ever pronounced as vu, it's pronounced u. And then mikveh, we see the vav with a vowel underneath it, litzere, so it is pronounced as a consonant. Vayikra Elohim li basha eretz ulamikveh hamayim kara yamim v'yar Elohim ki tov. When it begins to get sticky is when you have the vav with a dagesh in it. This is Tehillim Mem Pasuk Shtayim, Psalms 40, verse 2. We see these two highlighted words, kavo kiviti. So the root from mikveh is kuf vav he. And whenever we have a verb where the middle letter is a vav and the third letter is a he, we wind up with this situation of the dagesh in the vav. So just looking at this, how can we decide what we're looking at? Almost every letter in Hebrew that's at the beginning or the middle of a word is going to have a vowel. And except for, as we're going to see, the yud here and sometimes aleph in the middle will not have a vowel. But otherwise, we can very regularly expect consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel, and every letter will show up with its corresponding vowel. So the first word is kavo, and we see the kuf and it has a vowel. The next thing has to be a consonant. We can't have another vowel right after the patach. So we have to pronounce it vav as a consonant, and we see it has a vowel. It has that cholam chaser, that little dot up there. It's pronounced kavo. Kiviti. We see the kuf and the chirik. The next thing, that vav, has to be a consonant with a dagesh. It can't be another vowel after the chirik. It's not u, it's v. Ki, vi, ti. And we see that the vav with the dagesh has its own vowel, the chirik. Kavo kiviti Yahweh v'yet alai v'yishma shavati. An additional confusion appears when you have the vav with the dagesh followed by the shuruk. In Tehillim, Kuf Yutet, Psalms 119, verse 95. We see the highlighted word is kivu. It's the same root. When you have a verb that ends in hey, when it is in the third person plural, perfect tense, masculine, the hey drops, and we just have the u that gives the plural. We're going to talk about that later on in this presentation, but right now, just for reading's sake, we see these two things are right next to each other and they look exactly the same, but they have two different pronunciations. Just reading slowly, the kuf is the consonant. We see the chirik under it. It is the vowel. The next thing we must expect is a consonant. It is a vav with a dagesh. And then it must have its own vowel. It is the shuruk. Kivu. Likivu rishaim. La abdeni edatecha et bonen. We're going to look at another similar root that has a middle letter vav and a final letter hey. In Bereshit Kaf Bet, Pasuk Chamesh, Genesis 25, verse 5. We see the highlighted word is mitzvotai, and this is also a little confusing to read. We know that mitzvah is a commandment, mitzvotai is a plural, my commandments. So we see the mem, it has a vowel. The tzadi, it has a vowel. The next thing must be a consonant. Where is its vowel? It's that O, that's the cholam chaser. Mitzvotai. So it is pronounced, the vav here is a consonant. It's confusing in some fonts. This font is pretty good because the cholam chaser is offset from the vav. Sometimes you will see it right on top of the vav, looking like the cholam malay. For example, the next word we see chukotai, where the dot is right above the vav. So this font is good because it's offset, but sometimes you won't see that. But we can tell from the regularity. We have a consonant, vowel, mem, chirik, tzadi, shva. The next thing must be a consonant. It's the vav, and there's its vowel. Mitzvotai. Ekev asher shama Avraham bekoli, vayishmor mishmarti, mitzvotai, chukotai, v'toratai. Now we're going to see this as a verb in Shemot Lamed Gimel, Pasuk 31, Exodus 33, verse 31. And the highlighted word is the verb tziva, he commanded. And we see the dagesh again in the vav. So we know it's a consonant because it's followed by a consonant and a vowel, tzadi chirik, and then the next thing must be a consonant, vav. It has its own vowel, the kamatz underneath it, tziva. V'yitnu alav p'til tchelet latet al hamitznefet milmala ka'asher tziva Yahweh et Moshe. And again, here's the double whammy in Yehoshua Aleph. pasuk 11. Joshua chapter 1 verse 11. It's the verb to command. They commanded in the perfect tense for the third person masculine plural. How are we going to pronounce it? Well, first we have a vav, and it has a vowel, so it's going to be v. Then we have a tzadi and a vowel. That's going to be tsa. The next thing must be a consonant. It's a vav with the dagesh, and then we see the shuruk v tsavu. All right, I hope that has been helpful to you for your reading, and next time we'll move on to the actual uses for the vav. You probably already know that the vav at the beginning is going to be the conjunction and we'll look at that a little more next time. So in the meantime, Tasimatay Nayam al Hashemayim, keep your eye on the sky, your redemption draweth nigh. Shalom.